What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to the Big Five Fuel channel where we speak the truth, we're honest, we give our takes on the Miami Dolphins, and man, I kept putting it off and putting it off and putting it off, but I can't wait no longer. This is your mid-season review for the Miami Dolphins. I was going to originally do this on Monday, but then I got caught up with things. And I definitely wasn't going to do it on Tuesday because Tuesday was election day and I had to go vote. And I wanted to get some schoolwork done. And then I was originally going to do it Wednesday, but I ended up going out. And then I was going to end up recording it last night after the Thursday night football game. But the game didn't get over till 11:30. And I was so fucking tired after watching that game. What a game, by the way, last night between the Baltimore Ravens and the Cincinnati Bengals. Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase having the games that they did and they lost, that is criminal. That is absolutely criminal how they lost the game. They were robbed by the refs at the end. No holding call on Mike Gesicki and then no face mask call on Joe Burrow. They were robbed of that game. And I don't care what anybody says. You knew the Baltimore Ravens were going to explode in the second half. Chase Brown fumbles the football, and they go on an absolute rampage. Um, and look, man, Zach Taylor made the right call going for two at the end of that game. They just came up a little bit short. So, what a game that was last night. So now it's Friday, and we are going to do our midseason review today. Um, this is ahead of your Miami Dolphins taking on the Los Angeles Rams Monday night. And I figured there's no point in doing previews anymore. The Dolphins stink. Anything I say that they need to do to win games, it's just not going to happen. There's no point in there's no point in doing previews anymore. If they go on a winning streak here, maybe I'll do a preview for a game in December. I don't know, but I just don't have it in me to do previews anymore. I just don't have it in me to talk about this team. And I remember last year we were coming on doing 4 videos a week. Whether we were good or we were on a losing streak because we were in it all the way. And man, I'm missing last year a lot. I am. I'm missing it, man. And this season's been brutal. It sucked. It's taken the life out of me. I don't care about these games anymore. I've never felt so emotionless watching the Dolphins the last 2 weeks. It's like, cool. Tua's back, but they're still losing games. And I said it after we lost to Indianapolis. Just because Tua's back, it doesn't magically mean that everything is going to change. Nothing's changed. Quite frankly, we might have gotten worse. So, it sucks because I know the Dolphins have put me through so much misery in my life, but I would have never expected a season like this. If you told me back in August that, hey, going into week 10, the second half of the season, the Miami Dolphins are going to be sitting here at 2-6 with the season over, I would have told you, just simulate the next season. And that's literally what I want to do right now. You know how you have the simulate button in Madden? And if you're having a bad season, just go ahead and simulate. That's what I want to do. I just want to simulate to the offseason, to the NFL draft, because I'm actually excited about the draft this year, man. The Miami Dolphins, if there's one good thing going good for the Dolphins right now, it's that the Dolphins, they have a first round pick, and they have 10 draft picks in this upcoming draft. Huge. Absolutely huge. That could be for April. And the Dolphins, they made no trades at the trading deadline. They stayed put. They stayed right where they were. And they are the same team now than they were last week. They did not move anybody on the roster. And, this whole week you have this stupid optimism from the fans and Marcel Dejoie from ESPN and McDaniel and the players that there's still optimism. There's still faith that they can make a run. They're stupid, man. They're absolutely delusional. The season's over. You Dolphin fans are better off hoping that we lose because we need that top 10 draft pick. Now that the season's over, you're 2-6. I'm not even thinking playoffs. I just okay. I see the opponent in front of us, the Rams. The Rams are going to absolutely mollywop us this Monday night. And then you look at the next 2 weeks, the Raiders and the Patriots. Yeah, they'll probably win those games, but they'll be 4-7. And at that point, the season is still over. It is better just to go ahead and lose. I don't care at this point. I really don't. But let's go ahead and talk about this first half of the season. Right now, the Dolphins are sitting here at 2-6. Like I said, if you told me in August that we were going to be at 2-6 through the first half of the season, I would have told you just to simulate the next season. Just go ahead, simulate to next season. Simulate to the offseason. The Dolphins are realistically 2 plays away from being 0-8. This team could realistically be winless right now, as they are a Travis Etienne fumble and a Jalen Polk heel away from being 0-8. And that is just goes to show you how bad of an offseason the Dolphins had, how bad of a roster Chris Grier and Mike McDaniel constructed. And really, we'll talk about the coach soon, but it's really how horrendous of a job he's done this season. He's not a good coach at all. But you look at this offseason for the Dolphins. They don't bring back Christian Wilkins. They're suffering now at the defensive line. They can't get any pressure against these quarterbacks that they're playing. With Zach Sealer out, you have 38-year-old Calais Campbell's your top pass rusher. The other guys are not doing shit. It's horrendous to watch. You look at them signing Jordan Poyer over Deshaun Elliott. That was a loser of a signing. Jordan Poyer is such a fucking disgrace. He is horrendous. He has not done one good thing for the Dolphins all season. And I was sitting here talking about we had a good offseason. We did not have a good offseason. We did not. You let Christian Wilkins walk. You let Robert Hunt walk. Our guards stink. We have good tackles and a good center. That's it on our offensive line. Our guards are trash. We need better guards. You look at them deciding to not even offer Andrew Van Ginkel a contract. Instead, you sign Shaq Barrett. Shaq Barrett retires in the offseason. And you have Jalen Phillips, who goes down with a knee injury week 4. And you have Emmanuel Ogbah, who's playing with a torn bicep. And your top pass rusher is Chop Robinson. And Chop Robinson is so green. He is so green out there. I did not know how to feel when the Dolphins selected Chop Robinson in the draft. And now it's coming up to show that, hey, this might not have been the best pick at the 21st draft pick. in the 2024 draft. He's so green. And I know he's got potential, but we need him to play good now. And I think that was a futures draft pick. He will end up probably being the replacement for Bradley Chubb in the future. But for right now, he's just not good. He's not good. Jordan Brooks was a decent signing. Anthony Walker plays more than David Long Jr. does now. I think this is a contract year for David Long, so I don't expect him to be back on this team. But I guess the reason they're not playing David Long is accountability. He was horrendous in that game against Arizona. He could not stop a nosebleed, and they benched him. They benched him for Anthony Walker. Anthony Walker started last week against Buffalo. I mean, I don't really remember an outstanding play that he had, but that is them showing accountability to David Long Jr., I guess. So that's that. It's just been, you know, when you think of this season, you think of Tua and the concussion. So we've already talked about the roster construction and what happened in the offseason. Chris Grier did a terrible job constructing this roster for the Miami Dolphins. On defense, offense, the backups are terrible. And now looking back on it, some of our starters on defense are horrendous. Jordan Poyer was a disgrace of a signing. Our linebackers are trash. We have zero pass rush outside of Zach Sealer, who's now playing with a visor on. No pass rush outside of Zach Sealer. Our defense was terribly constructed. And our defense is getting exposed because when we were playing good, we were not playing good. We did not have a good performance against the Titans. No one did. But you look at the teams they played early on in the season. Seattle is not a good offense. Seattle had one good quarter that game, and they were shut out the rest of the game, basically, until the defense gave up. So, you look at this common trend. Early in the year, when the Dolphins' defense was playing good, they were playing teams like Seattle, New England with Jacoby Brissett, Indianapolis with Anthony Richardson. Common theme, those offenses suck. And while our defense was playing good against those teams, when we got to playing good offenses, they got exposed. They got exposed of how bad of a defense they were against Arizona. That's the day their defense got exposed. And they gave up 30 against Buffalo. They gave up 28 against Arizona. They gave up 3 touchdowns, I believe it was. Oh, no, it was 2. But they gave up 21 points in that second half against Arizona. That they got absolutely torched in that game by Kyler Murray. They got torched by Josh Allen the following week. And now you look at some of the offenses that they're gonna play in the coming weeks. They play the Rams on Monday night. Excuse me. I'm expecting the Rams to put 40 up on those motherfuckers. I'm expecting Kupp to go off. Kyron Williams gets a couple touchdowns. Puka Nacua, he might even splash 100. You're talking about the real legit offenses they're going to be playing now. They're going to play the Rams. They're going to play Green Bay. They're going to play the Jets. They're going to play the Texans. It's only going to get worse from here with this defense. But this right here is where the season went downhill, and it was the Tua concussion. That's our season. That's our season, because if Tua does slide and doesn't get himself a concussion, we might be sitting here at 4-4, 5-3, and feeling good about ourselves going into a Monday night game in LA, because let's be real, the rest of the AFC, it's not looking great. You got the Broncos at 5-4 as the last seed, but outside of that, you got Indy at 4-5, Cincinnati at 4-6, the Jets at 3-6, and yet the Dolphins season's over. And if we had Tua, and Tua wasn't dumb to collide into Damar Hamlin, he doesn't know himself. If he was smart enough, we would be feeling really good about ourselves, I feel like, as Dolphin fans. We would be right there in the playoff mix. And I saw a tweet from David Furones saying, how are Dolphin fans feeling about the game on Monday night? And someone commented, if we beat the Rams on Monday night, we're back in this mix. Buddy, we will be 3-6. I don't know what you're talking about saying we are back in the mix with a team that's fucking 3-6. It is a lost season for this team. And it was lost the night Tua suffered a concussion. And Tua's out, and you have the Skylar Thompson experiment with Seattle. That was an abomination. Then you start Tyler Huntley against Tennessee, and that's the game where I really thought the season was over. You're at home against a Tennessee team that's fucking horrible. The Titans suck, okay? They are a horrible football team. And I know it was Tyler Huntley's first start, and he's only with the team for 2 weeks. But you let that Titans team come into your building and kick your ass the way they did. That was when the season was over. September 30th, week 4, losing at home that bad to the Titans. That's when the season was over for the Miami Dolphins. Yeah, they go on the road and beat the Patriots, but the Patriots are fucking terrible. Cool, they got a win against the Patriots. But then what you really needed was that win against Indianapolis, and that was a winnable game. You had the lead, 10-0. You allow a field goal before halftime, and shit goes up in the smoke. And this comes back on 2 things. Number 1, the upper management of the organization did a terrible job finding a good quality backup quarterback for Tua Tagovailoa. They cheapened out because they didn't feel like paying a good backup like Joe Flacco or Jameis Winston. They settled for what they had, and it came back to bite them in the ass. They settled for Skylar Thompson. They signed Tim Boyle off the street. They signed Tyler Huntley. And it came back, and it bit them in the ass. And I said it's on 2 things, and that's the first one. It's on Chris Grier for not getting a good quality backup, and it's on Mike McDaniel for not adjusting the offense. Mike McDaniel is not a good head coach. He's had a horrendous season, and his season has came down to the games that Tua was not there. When Tua was out, he was terrible. He did not help Skylar Thompson at all against Seattle. He did not help Tyler Huntley at all against Tennessee. And against Indianapolis, he made some very questionable decisions. Very questionable decisions. Fullback dive at the 12-yard line is something I won't forget this season. He doesn't adjust. He doesn't adjust to different players. It's as if he was playing with Tua Tagovailoa the whole season. You want to wonder why Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle didn't have a target in that first half of the Indianapolis game? Look at the routes they were running. You think Tyler Huntley's making those throws? You think Tim Boyle's making those throws? Fuck no. That's on the coach. Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle are not the reason why they were so bad in that game. It was because the coach set them up for failure. And McDaniel, not helping those quarterbacks, basically set the team up for failure. And as soon as Tua got that concussion, the season was a lost cause. The season was over by week 4. And now we're here at 2-6. And who gives a fuck at this point? Who cares about the Miami Dolphins? For me, it's all about next year. It's all about April. Just get me to the offseason. Get me to April. We've got 10 draft picks. Let's tank. Let's lose out. I want a top 5 draft pick. I want one of those top quarterbacks. Because Tua is not the future of this team. He's not. He's made of paper. He's made of a paper bag. He's made out of a paper bag. He's not the future of this team if he's going to get injured every season. McDaniel's not the future of this team. Neither is Tua. We are 2-6 with both of them here right now. We are losing games with Tua. We stink. This team stinks. I wish I could have been here and been more energetic, but it's just how the season's going so far. It's bad. I would have never expected this to happen. And I know the Dolphins have put me through a lot of misery in my life. I've never seen them win a playoff game before. But I would have never expected a season like this. And I do think things are going to continue to go the way they are. And this will go down as one of the more disappointing seasons in my lifetime as a Miami Dolphins fan. I just want the season to be over. Let's full out tank the season. Tank the season, Miami. You're done.